Hello friends, welcome to my channel Creating Essence. I am Megan. Thank you so much for stopping by today. Today we are going to give you a walkthrough and review of our Ford Transit. If this seems familiar, yep, we've done one already. Put an iCard up as well as a link in the info box below. We've had our Transit for more than a year now, so we wanted to give you guys kind of a, what do we think? Do we still love it? What do we hate? Just kind of a check-in. Like, how's it working for us? Do we wish we had made a different choice? One thing right off the bat that I will tell you that we've learned about having a Ford Transit since buying one is there is like this catty competition between Ford Transit and Nissan NV owners, which is hilarious to me because I love them both, and I actually loved the Nissan NV, and we were shopping for one for months before we ended up even looking at a Transit. And it's just, I mean, for the most part, Ford Transit people are like, meh, whatever, it works for us. And I have found that people who own a Nissan NV are really quick to say the Ford Transit is horrible, which is funny. Have you owned one? Because I've been in both of them. And I mean, why is there a competition? What works for you works for you. Even if you look at the comments on my first video about our Transit, I've deleted some of the nastier things, but there are still people who are like, boo, Transit sucks, NV rocks. Really? I mean, I had no idea when I bought this awesome family vehicle that there was going to be turf wars. So, if you're looking at buying one of these big, beautiful beasts, whatever kind, brace yourself. There's some catty, competitive turf wars in the passenger van market. So, what do we think about it? We still love it. Overall, I mean, we get so many questions. I'm gonna give you a quick little walkthrough. Nothing as detailed as the first time, but just let you know realistically how it has worked for us over the last year and a half. One thing I've noticed when I'm getting out, if I'm in a hurry, my butt will flip open the gas can. So there's that. If you follow our channel regularly, you will know that we got the windows tinted. Some of them come tinted, some don't. Ours did not come with it initially. We knew that it wasn't a con, it was just a thing. And we really didn't mind the windows not being tinted at all. However, we had a really scary experience, and that kind of just made us decide to tint our windows for privacy reasons. I'll put a link to that in an iCard as well as in the info box below in case you care to hear about that drama. Like I've said in the past, this vehicle is so easy to drive. It's like driving a minivan, but easier, because the massive mirrors and the backup cameras and all the sensors, you have 0 blind spots and it moves like a minivan. We have this extra large rear view mirror. As you can see, those are the back windows, and we can see out the side windows as well. With this side view mirror, we not only with the top can see way back there to the back of the van, you can see my pile of junk there in the blind spot camera to see that I just cleaned out my car. But my husband's car, right there, is a good distance away, and I can still see it in here. So there really are no blind spots. And the same is true with this mirror here. Driving it feels like a minivan. We had a Nissan Quest before this, which we really loved. We just outgrew it. This vehicle is a very similar drive. I have friends who have said, oh, I could never get one of those. I hate even driving our Suburban. Like, this is easier than a Suburban. It really is. It's intimidating to look at because it's extra long, but all of these mirrors and things and how smooth it is really makes it a much easier drive even than a large SUV. That's another question we've had come up a lot. If you only have 7 people in your family, why did you not get something like a Ford Excursion or Expedition or a Chevy Suburban? That's pretty simple. We have so many kids in car seats that having people climb all over each other or having to flip seats up or anything to get people into them not practical, just not happening. And besides that, we really are looking to foster and adopt in the very near future, and we wanted to have the space for any children that come available at any moment and not have to worry about being packed in like sardines if we get more than one child anytime soon. People also ask a lot about gas mileage. We get about 17 to 18 miles per gallon. That is really not bad with a vehicle this size. With our Nissan Quest, at best we are getting 20 to 22 miles per gallon. That's not an astronomical difference. Another question commonly asked is drive-thrus. We have the medium height roof because I am very tall. My children are very tall. My husband's average, but he made babies with me, so we have tall babies. Can this fit through drive-thrus and parking garages? Drive-thrus? Yes, most of them. We have found one drive-thru in our entire area that it does not fit. The clearance is 8'6". We do not try anything under 9 feet. And you will notice if you look around, most drive-thrus are 9 to 10 feet. I can fit through Chick-fil-A, and that's really all I need. Parking garages, there are some that are too small, some that aren't. It just depends. If you're going someplace like a hospital, you can call ahead and ask about their parking garage. Every single hospital or building of any kind that has a parking garage has a parking lot or parking space available for oversized vehicles. They are used to oversized vehicles, delivery vehicles, things of that nature. There is a lot for them. You can call and get permission, and they'll tell you right where to go and what you need to say to be allowed in. You just have to let them know that you're coming. So if you're going to something downtown, like a museum or something like that, again, call and ask about the parking situation ahead of time while you're making your travel plans. We have found that the extra height in the roof absolutely has way more pros than cons. Probably the parking garage is the single con. We have taken this van on so many trips. We have done a road trip to New York, upstate New York by Canada, literally Lake Ontario. And it performed beautifully, got even better gas mileage than that on the road. We have gone to the mountains and driven through the mountains several times, and our car handled it without skipping a beat. We took a road trip down to southern Florida and back. So we have really traveled this vehicle extensively and put it through some pretty hard paces, and it has never once faltered. There was a drivetrain recall on the Ford Transit, and we got our letter from Ford. We called our local dealer and told them, you know, we got the recall letter. They said, great, come in on this day. It's a 3-hour fix. My husband sat in the waiting room with his laptop, and it was done. We never had a single problem. We didn't have to pay for it. They changed our oil while they were at it. It was a fine experience. They were ready for us when we came in because we called ahead of time and made the appointment for that. If you have any questions about how the Ford Transit works for us or anything in particular, please let us know. We have had 0 problems with it. We also have been in an accident. I mentioned it in some videos back in February and March, but we were on the highway and had to stop suddenly for emergency vehicles ahead, and a huge Ford F-250 just came up over a hill that we were sitting on and couldn't see us until he smashed in the back of us going 60 miles an hour. And aside from a little bit of soreness, everyone in the vehicle was fine. We were all fine. That speaks enormously that we were smashed into by a large vehicle going 60 miles an hour and we were fine. One thing I always like to highlight about this vehicle is the cargo space. So that really was the clincher when it came to the differences between buying an NV and a Transit. The Nissan NV has only as much cargo space or less as a minivan. The seats are very close to the back door, and that just wasn't going to work for us. Our groceries didn't even fit in the back of our minivan, so we knew if we are upgrading to a larger vehicle, we can't do it knowing we already don't have the space. There is a good amount of space back here, and it has been so useful in all of our travels. On all the road trips we've taken, we take out this set of 2 so that we're basically down to a 10 passenger, but we have so much extra space. We can even put the dog's kennel in here and leave it up, and it's an extra large kennel. So he, from the front, can walk in and out of it as we go on the road. And we still have plenty of room for 7 people's worth luggage and groceries. Everyone that I know that has an NV that says when the cargo space issue is brought up, they say, oh, we just take out a segment of the back seats. Well, just for daily function, they're already knocking down their passenger capacity to 10 people. So that's kind of one of the things that was another reason that we went with the Transit, is we're not going to buy something we're already out of space on. And if we're buying a 12 passenger, it needs to be a 12 passenger, not a 10 passenger, just to be able to get groceries. We still have these organizers on the back of the seats so the kids can each, up there, have all their stuff. There are multiple latch seats, but we keep the baby rear facing up there behind us so that he's close. We really have space to keep anything we could possibly need in here. On an everyday basis, I keep a jogging stroller and a whole bunch of reusable grocery bags back here, and there's still plenty of space to get all of our groceries for 2 weeks. That's saying something. How do you feel about the Transit a year and a half later?
I think it was a good investment. It's fun to drive, gets the job done. It's unique. That's about it.
Do you have any regrets?
No. I don't think so. It's doing what it advertised that it did. Hasn't been any kind of mechanical issues that you tend to see with any type of new car these days. It would have been nice if we got a used one, because it would have been a lot cheaper, but we didn't. There wasn't the availability for us to take that route. It
is really difficult to find a used Ford Transit unless it's something low roof that has been used as a shuttle vehicle for things like hotels and airports, because once a family has a Transit, they don't let it go, so they don't go back on the market. Another thing people have asked about a lot with this vehicle is the air conditioning and the heating. Are they efficient for such a large vehicle? And that's definitely yes. We have noticed one little thing, that if you keep it on 3, it is colder or warmer depending on what it is. But if you move it to 4, it's like it's working so hard to push out so much air that it loses some of its efficacy. So we keep it on 3, whatever it's at, and it works just fine. And that's another thing that is a really common problem with Nissan NVs, is that the rear air conditioning either never is quite good enough or just quits altogether. And multiple people have said they've tried to get it fixed. Dealerships say everything looks just fine with it, but it never is really efficient in the back.
I would recommend getting it tinted if you don't have one that's tinted, because there are very large windows and the sun can bake you. So yeah, the air conditioning can cool down the van, but if you're baking under the sun. We went out and made the investment to tint the windows, which was a little frightening because they are very large windows. There's a lot of things to tint, but it still was only like $800 to tint it. And we went with a premium tint.
Yeah.
So it could be cheaper, but
yeah.
I wanted to make sure we got one that was good for blocking out UV rays and heat reduction.
The tinted windows definitely have made the AC more efficient. It has to work a lot less. We can actually shut it off. I mean, in the dead of summer, the kids were asking me to shut the air conditioning off because they were getting chilly back here. So, and I think that's it. If you have any questions, always put them in the info box below. We're always happy to answer them. If you have a large passenger van, let me know what you have and what you like. And if you want, you can tell me what you hate too. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Bye, friends.